Hi all, this is Skate, and this video I want to talk about the bat chat. But before I do, I just want to apologise for the lack of content over the last week. Well, in fact, I think we're coming up 2 weeks now. So my apologies there. Now this is a video I wanted to do, well, coming up 2 weeks ago. Sadly, I have been insanely busy with work and things outside of work, so I haven't had the chance. Now, what we're basically viewing here, though, is 4 games which I recorded while playing the bat chat. And I'm sure people can remember, well, in case you can't, my view on the bat chat. When I did that preview video, I was super excited for this tank. And I really do mean, like, really excited for this tank to come out. It's a tank which is exciting to play. It has an exciting playstyle. And on top of that, it's a tank which it's challenging to play. It's got a degree of skill level involved to play this tank, which all make this tank fun and unique at tier 10. Don't get me wrong, every tank in some shape or form requires a skill level, obviously. But the bat chat to me, especially when you watch videos from PC, and yes, my bat chat just bounced to T95. But yeah, bat chat's reputation. This tank is known for... It's the same as a Leo. It's known for basically being ridiculously weak and quite challenging to play. So you've got to use your noggin to make sure that you use it correctly. If you don't use your head and you don't think about the fact you have 0 armor, you're just going to get annihilated very quickly and very, very easily. I enjoy that playstyle. It's fast, it's exciting. We all enjoy that playstyle, I think. So when I heard the bat chat was coming to Blitz and I got the chance to play with them, I was very, very excited. It's surely a tank with that set is going to be very, very fun. So I did my preview video, and in said preview video you could tell I was excited. The preview is on the test server, so as a result you don't get a 100% reflection of said tank. What I focused on in that preview video was the lack of ammo capacity on these tanks from the tier 7 AMX upwards. And yeah, this tank, when you look at it on paper, it looks a little bit underpowered. And guess what? It is. And that's my opinion. Some people are going to go, what the hell? No, it is not underpowered. I think it is a little bit underpowered, and I've gone from feeling super excited about this tank, which is, hey, check this out, this is going to be fun, to, why? Why is this like this? So for example, it has no armor. I am fine with that. I expected that. Before I carry on, actually, that was a mastery with 1000 spotting damage and 2800 damage. Now this game was fairly, well, when the tank was fairly new into the game, but I have never got a mastery in any tier 10 tank, even when it's new, with that lower level of damage. That's ridiculous. And to be honest, disappointing. And look, that IS-8 has called me a wallet warrior. I'm guessing he hasn't realised the name on this account I'm playing is What Be Contributor. Regardless, bat chat. It has no armor whatsoever. I expected that. It has a great view range. I expected that. You can see we've lit up this E75. I'm sitting here on the ridge and we're taking plenty of shots at him. Absolutely no problem at all. I mentioned the ammo capacity in the preview video. I expected that. It has the same sort of situation on PC. PC is a different game, but this tank has those characteristics brought over from PC. What I wasn't expecting is to see no difference in damage between the 100mm gun and 105. Yes, different guns do different damage. However, 310, 3 shots with a 3-second reload in between each one. It's a bit lackluster, isn't it? Especially when you think it has 240 millimeters of penetration, which is the same as our Rusky mediums. But this thing's nothing like a Russian medium. It doesn't have any armor or the crazy DPM. This actually has quite bad DPM because it has the autoloader. So why has it got the same penetration as those Russian mediums? And when every shot is vital because you have such low ammo capacity, you can't help but feel really disappointed by the 240 millimeters of penetration. And I don't want a tank which is overpowered. I want a tank which is challenging to play. But I don't think this... I think this is underpowered. And I think the problems with it are its poor penetration, its 310 alpha, and the 3-second reload between the shots. And what Bushka did testing on, so fair play to Bushka, I got massive respect for this, because we've all spoke about it in our contributor channel, where we all chat. But Bushka obviously tested the light tank camo on these, and it didn't have the camo. Now, I thought it was quite refreshing to see they brought this in as a light tank and not a medium tank. And naturally, the fact they've classified this as a light tank instantly changed our perception of what the tank should do. It should have light tank camo on the move. And being as it is a light tank, you expected the light tank mobility. But this is no faster accelerating than a Leopard 1. And it has no more armor than a Leopard 1. It has worse armor than a Leopard 1. And it has less DPM. It has a less reliable gun. It has a less accurate gun. So you have all those negatives in comparison to a Leopard 1. Purely just so you can have an autoloader. But there's even more drawbacks. You've got worse gun elevation. You've got worse gun depression. You could literally continue. Now, that's not to say I'm not enjoying playing this tank. I've already specified I really have enjoyed playing this. It's an exciting playstyle, but the tank really does need that little bit more. And this is, of course, my opinion. Like I said, some people will disagree. But I genuinely think this tank just needs that little bit more. Like I said, 240 pen, when every single one of those shots count, and a 3-second shot. Well, sorry, 3-second reload between each shot. I just feel disappointed by that. Obviously, I don't balance tanks, and that's not my job. So I could be barking completely up the wrong tree. But here's my logic. If this tank is comparable to a Leopard 1, why has it not got the standard penetration which a Leopard 1 has got? Which is the 255. Now, there will be arguments saying, oh, we'll fit calibrated shells and that'll fix that. Well, calibrated shells are there to improve something on a tank, not make it just about acceptable. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but wasn't the point in the new equipment system to provide more diversity to the game, so people don't always pick exactly the same equipment? If you've got a choice between increasing the reload on this and fixing, and it is fixing, the penetration values, everyone's going to be picking the calibrated shells, which therefore mean you're making this tank acceptable with equipment, not providing diversity with equipment. And this is, like I said, where different people's opinions differ. All the community contributors were chatting about this topic, the back chat. And obviously Bushka also feels this is subpar, so to speak. He agrees. We all agree. I think all the contributors, it's fair to say, feel this tank is slightly underpowered. But we have different opinions as to how and why. Obviously, Bushka's mentioned in his video as well that he feels this tank's penetration is acceptable. It's the ammo capacity. Where I'm of the opposite opinion, personally. I don't have an issue with the ammo capacity if the penetration was okay. To me, the ammo capacity is just part of the trait of the tank. It probably could do with a little bit more in Blitz, because You can't have a dedicated light tank in Blitz. You can't. You can't have a tank which is designed purely for spotting, because 7 versus 7, we need that 7th tank to be stuck into the battle, getting involved, not spotting, running away, skirting around the outskirts because you're too worried about getting shot because you're not going to be reliably damaging anything, or you're going to be running out of ammo soon. And that's why I think this tank needs a buff. And for me, I'm not personally fazed by the ammo loadout, purely because I think it's a fun little quirky trait of the tank. But this is where it kind of falls together, is I think this tank does need a damage buff in terms of put the 105 to 350 damage a shot. Technically, that also kind of solves some of the ammo issue, because you're getting more damage per shot. On top of that, I think it needs a buff in terms of its penetration. Match it to the Leo, which is the tank it is most like a tier 10. Because at the moment, if someone said, ooh, a tier 10 light tank, I'd be like, yeah, great. I'll go get my Leo. Because I genuinely feel, except for the autoloader, it's better in every way. I mean, again, another example. It has, at the moment, this tank does 2,800 DPM, which is bad for this sort of tank. I say this sort of tank, it's bad for a tank with no armor whatsoever, especially when you compare it to a Leo, which has 3,500 damage compared with some equipment fitted. That's insane. All for the sacrifice of an autoloader. It's too much sacrifice. If the damage on this thing was buffed to 350 damage a shot, you're taking the DPM from 2,800 to what? 3,100 and something. That's not a massive buff, is it? That's a very, very small buff. But it's enough to make this tank better, especially if you gave it 255mm of penetration, or something nearer to that. And this is why I feel frustrated with this tank, because I just bounced off the bus of an IS-4. But this is why I'm frustrated with this tank, because I want it so badly to be fun, and it is a lot of fun. But with the really bad elevation, which will catch you out, with the gun depression not being amazing, with the lack of armor, with the modules being made of bloody little bits of glass, because every time someone hits a module, it breaks. It needs that little bit more. And that bit more, I say it's a little bit more, it sounds like a lot when you summarize it all, but give it better terrain resistance, because the terrain resistance is worse than a Leo, by the way. So that slight improvement on terrain resistance just puts it a little bit ahead of the Leo, because at the moment, if you put these things side by side, put an engine boost on both of them, you will push exactly the same with both. So yeah, better terrain resistance, 255 penetration, and up the damage. If they did those three things, I think this tank would be substantially better. I wouldn't even be as bothered by the 3 seconds in between each shot, even though I think it's too much personally. I would like to see that reduced. But what I'd like to see more is slightly better terrain resistance to fix the mobility. And then you've still got so many things that are worse than its most direct competitor, the Leo. There's still worse gun handling. It still doesn't turn as quick. It's still got modules made of glass. There's so many things which you're sacrificing, including still less DPM, but you're making this tank that little bit more competitive and more useful to your team. Because when your team are dead, you will struggle to carry in this tank. Other than that, I think the playstyle is fantastic fun, but it is slightly lacking in terms of the tank anyway. But the playstyle of this sort of thing... Oh, actually no, there's one more very, very important note before I end. The credits. Oh my god, it's bad. Like, really, really bad. Tier 10 I don't expect to make many credits anyway, but this thing, you make a loss nearly every battle. I mean, I just did a mission there. That mission gave me 30,000 credits, And I still only walked away with 6,000. If you have a look how much of a loss I made on the other games, some of them are ranging up to 20,000 loss. In fact, looking back, there was that stupid mastery game and I still only produced minus 3,000 credits nearly. So yeah, that's another thing that needs to be fixed. Other than that, it's lots of fun. No, it is. This tank has the potential to be a lot of fun. But at the moment, tier for tier, the tier 9 is much better. Especially as the tier 9 obviously sees tier 9 and tier 8 as well as tier 10. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed the video. Like I said, it is just my opinion on the tank. Obviously, I'm sharing said opinion in said video. You are more than welcome to disagree with it. It's still my opinion on the tank, but everyone's going to have their own. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.